My name is Dr. Corey Wrenn. I am a professor of sociology and the director of gender studies at Monmouth University. The concept I'm going to be explaining today is intersectionality. So intersectionality is a concept or a theory or a perspective that comes out of Black feminist thought. And it emerged out of this understanding that mainstream theories of inequality really compartmentalized inequality. So really focused on class, really focused on gender, or really focused on race. But in the real world, identities don't work so compartmentalized. They actually are intersecting. So for instance, mainstream theories about race, looking just at race and just looking at white supremacy as a system, are going to not really deal with the fact that there are some people who experience race differently based on their gender, their ability, their class, their nationality, their sexuality. So we can't just talk about race without also thinking about how these other identities will be intersecting at all different ways. You can't just turn one off and just look at the other, in other words. That's not how the real world works. So when we look at intersectionality from a vegan feminist perspective, we're also introducing the notion that species intersects with race, class, gender, and other identity categories. So what happens, in two respects this is interesting, what happens is that animals can also experience their world differently based on gender that's been imposed on them, racial categorizations that have been imposed on them. So for instance, in the food system, female-bodied animals are more likely to be exploited because they're able to produce breast milk, eggs, and babies. And we can also look at how race can intersect with a species' experience in life if they've been racialized. So, for instance, pit bulls have been heavily racialized, and so we see really punitive and often lethal attempts to control pit bulls. But on the other hand, it's not simply that a non-human animal's experience through the life world is going to be intersected by their race, class, and gender categories that have been imposed on them. But we also see that humans are also going to have their life experiences be based on their animalization. So women and people of color, historically, even lower class people have been, and people with disabilities have all been animalized. So when we're thinking about, even for the mainstream theories that aren't really interested in animal studies, it really is foundational, this concept of animalization, analyzing these groups of people, it's been foundational to their oppression. So coming at it from an intersectional perspective, we realize that we cannot just look at race, class, gender. We also have to explore species as another identity category. And then finally, something that's imperative to intersectional thought is not just identity categories, but also systems. So we can't just look at white supremacy. We also have to be looking at patriarchy. We also have to be looking at capitalism. We also have to be looking at human supremacy. All of these systems are interlocking and working at once. It's not just like Tuesday is patriarchy day, Wednesday is white supremacy day. These are all interlocking and happening at once. And because animalization, turning persons into animals, turning them into objects, turning them into things, is something that's happening across the board, we really have to be thinking intersectionally in a way that also includes non-human animals. So I hope that clears it up. Intersectionality as a perspective, a theory, a concept, and from a vegan feminist perspective, it is one that includes non-human animals, recognizing that animalization is really at the foundation to all of our systems of inequality, and it really is at the base of all these identity formations as well.